Duane, we heard the rumors the last couple of weeks, and obviously where there's smoke, there's fire. We heard that Tim Leiweke's wife isn't enamored with the city of Toronto. I find that hard to believe. As you and I both know, they have a home in Vail, Colorado, and it's just as cold there as it is here. But to me, I believe this is going to be a huge loss for TFC fans because of what he brought to this club when he got here. Your thoughts on it?
Well, I think the biggest loss will be that under Tim Leiweke, TFC was given equal footing within MLSE with the Leafs and the Raptors, and I don't necessarily think that was the case before. Tim Leiweke has a special sort of connection with MLS, the guy that brought Beckham here and so on and so forth. I think he enjoyed MLS. I think he viewed it as a league that he had a special feeling for and wanted to see successful, and TFC as a franchise within that being part of that. So I think that when he is gone, and if you look at some of the candidates, at least the names that are being floated about right now, it just doesn't seem like you're going to get a guy in that has the same sort of soccer interest or connections that Leiweke had, and that will absolutely be a loss.
Do you believe, Duane, that they might give more responsibility to Tim Bazbachenko, the board of MLSE? Do you believe that they're sold on this young GM to give him more responsibility?
I think that they will. Yeah, absolutely. I do actually. That I think that what we'll see happen is much like we saw in the past when MLSE was run by the pension plan. We'll see a hands-off sort of a board where they've connected to they've made the appointments, and they're going to let them run the team for better or worse. And I think if you look way back into TFC's history, that was the problem they got into with Mo Johnston. That Mo Johnston sold, Tom Anselmi a bag of goods, and then no one within the board was aware enough to remove him when he needed to be removed. And that will be the hope or the worry that we'll see here is if Bazbachenko isn't up to the task, and so far it looks like he might be, but if he isn't, then who is the person that's going to come in and be able to remove him? But I do certainly think that it is Bazbachenko's team moving forward once Leiweke leaves.
My concern, Duane, for TFC fans and for the city of Toronto that has embraced Michael Bradley, Jermaine Defoe, and also Julio Cesar when he came, is that Tim Leiweke had all sorts of great connections in Europe. Tim Leiweke was a name respected in many parts of that country and South America. They knew when he was making the trip over there, it was serious business. Do you believe they're going to lose some of that?
Well, yeah, that is the biggest worry. And, Bazbachenko certainly so far has shown that he can do some good business, but whether or not he's going to get the meetings, as good a meetings as he had with Leiweke is the question, and whether or not he can, well, he's such a young man, it's hard to imagine that he would have the connections that Leiweke had. So absolutely it's going to be a challenge. I think that if you want to look at a concrete example of what we might expect, it would be the Gilberto signing. I think that was more Bazbachenko identifying a player and going out and signing and getting him done than it was the other two signings, which were clearly bigger names. And whether Toronto can continue to attract those without having that insider, the former AEG man, out there trying to open the doors, I don't know, it remains to be seen. Here in Toronto, we're going to take a cynical view of that because we're sort of inclined to do so, and I think we all kind of worry that's not going to be the case moving forward. That the days of the bloody big deals are, they were short and sweet and they're gone now. That's probably the worry that most people, for legitimate reasons, are going to have today.
My concern is simply this, Duane, just before we let you go, I really appreciate your time, is that Tim Leiweke had the Drake effect on all three franchises under the MLSE umbrella, and specifically in the soccer angle, where he pulled no stops to get Defoe to come in, Bradley, with all sorts of different things. I don't think we're going to see someone come in that's going to be able to do that. Having said that, do you feel that Bradley and Defoe are going to have some cold feet after Leiweke leaves and maybe rethink this whole Toronto experiment over for themselves?
No, I don't. I don't think that a CEO is necessarily going to be the guy that's going to create worry within them to have them leave the situation. That the instability is going to be seen more on the ground level. If you see big turnover in players in this offseason, if you see a big turnover in the frontline staff, beyond maybe one or two. I mean, Jermaine Defoe was just quoted in an article that was published not too long ago, within the last hour, where he sort of said, well, this, people come and go in the world of football, so I want to honor Leiweke by making the playoffs this year, but he didn't, beyond that, at least in the words he said to the reporter, it was a CP story, say that he was concerned about it at any deeper level. As I said, if they bring in someone and there's continues to be instability at the board level and there's problems and the players are perceiving themselves as not being supported, then they are going to leave. But as long as they're perceived as being supported with they continue to improve the infrastructure around them. If the stadium expansion continues ahead, if they continue to make improvements to Downsview, if those things keep happening, I don't think it matters who the person is that's ultimately in charge. The question is whether the person that's hired to ultimately take over from this is going to put the same amount of attention into TFC that they're going to put into the Leafs and the Raptors.